Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be sharing with you my process of how I coordinate eyeshadow colors and how I choose what to wear on any given day. I've had this question numerous times throughout the years, and a little over a year ago I did do a detailed video explaining kind of how to determine kind of shadow undertones, how to pair colors together. I'll link that video down below, but today I want to give you kind of a more practical video. What I mean by that is this. In the BoxyCharm box this month, I received this Violet Voss palette. It's Olive You Forever. So cute. And when I first opened this, I thought, oh, what a cool, fun palette. There's a little bit of some color, there's a good bit of neutrals, there's a good mix of mattes and shimmers, and I immediately thought this would be a great palette to demonstrate kind of my process. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. I do already have my foundation and brows done, and I did apply some eyeshadow primer. This is the NARS Tinted Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. Now, the first question that I want to address is, do I coordinate my outfit with my eyeshadow colors, lipstick color, whatever? Technically, usually yes. So sometimes I make the decision of what I'm going to wear after I've done my makeup. And then other times, if I already know kind of the look I'm going for or the palette I'm going to use, I will choose my outfit accordingly. So today I have this kind of olive camo colored sweater on because I knew I wanted to use some greens. So that's just something that I do. You don't have to do that, but personally, I feel like, especially if you're using colored shadows, those kind of almost become an accessory to your outfit and can help pull an entire look together if there's some sort of coordination. Now, it doesn't mean that I have to use the greens in this palette. As you can see, there's a lot of warm neutrals and browns, there's black. So you could definitely stick in something neutral and wear a very colorful top, or even wear what I'm wearing. So that's just my personal process. And then the next step is I will open up the palette and I will actually swatch some of these colors to see what the tones are. So I don't know about you, but sometimes you can dig into a color and it looks like it's gonna be super cool, and then you put it on your eyes and it ends up being a totally different color. So that's why personally, I like to actually swatch a palette. Now, I don't do it in really nice, normally coordinated swatches on the back of my hand or my arm. I'm usually just randomly throwing them on the back of my hand to see what I like. But for today's demonstration, I'll make it look nice and pretty for you. All right, so after completing the swatches on the back of my hand, the thing that is also helpful, not only does it give you more of an idea of actually what the color is, but it helps you understand the formula as well. Sometimes like a deep shadow like this black, you can discover that, holy cow, that is really pigmented. I'm gonna have to be super careful. And then other times like today, I found that this one was very kind of soft and buildable. So it wasn't instantly like super black. So now I know I can go in with that one and not be too afraid of how pigmented it's going to be. Also the shimmers, it gave me an idea of how flaky or not flaky these actually perform all pretty well. And you can see this green up here, it's just like it appears in the pan. You can tell this green as opposed to this one. The difference is this one has much more of a grassy green color tone, cooler tone, and then this one has much more yellow. And so going with what I am wearing today, I am going to gravitate more towards this olive rather than this one. So then the next thing that I do is I look at the total colors and I start looking for what shade do I want to use on the brow bone, what shade do I want to use in the crease, what shade on the lid, and then what shades do I want to use to darken the outer corner. Now, if you know me, you'll know This is not a palette that contains a brow bone highlight shade for me. I love a matte brow bone highlight shade. So I already know I'm gonna have to pull in a shadow from another palette. But this shade right here is going to make a beautiful inner corner highlight and would also look really beautiful all over the lid. Then, since I already am gravitating towards this shadow, this is what I am thinking I'm going to put on the majority of my lid, but I also know that either this shadow or this one would look beautiful kind of paired with that. So you can overlap any of these shades and they will look beautiful. So these are thoughts that I have in my mind, and then as I start applying, we'll make those decisions. And then as far as a crease color, now these shades look pretty cool. On the hand, you can see this one is so light and so kind of cool pink. It's not going to stand out much for me on my skin tone, which is not a problem, but for the look I'm going for today, I think based on the swatches here, I'm gonna focus more on the warmer tones, but I might mix a little bit of this one. So I kind of have a little bit of a game plan, but not much. We'll get it together here. All right, so I'm gonna start now with the shadow from, this is the Soleil palette from Lorac. I'm gonna go in just with this top warm vanilla shade on an E50 brush from Sigma. And I'm just putting this along the brow bone. Okay, so I know I love this color, but it does look a little dark to start in the crease. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually dip my brush a little bit in here and then a little bit in there, and I am going to tap off my brush. This is the M504 from Morphe, and I'm just gonna lightly put this through the crease. And then I take a step back and I say, okay, do I like that tone? And actually, I think the combination of those two is perfect. So I'm going to then dip my brush again, just dip, dip. I don't swirl my brush, I never do that. And then tap off, and these are a little powdery, not too bad. And then again, lightly buff those colors right through the crease again. Now this is a great starting point for any look. Putting something neutral through the crease like I just did. Now from here, I could really go in any direction with this palette. I could go in with this beautiful shimmery peach color and add a darker brown in the outer corner, call it good, and it would be a much more neutral leaning look. I could also keep it all matte, maybe go in with just a little darker brown and some black, and then maybe I would pop a little bit of this on the inner corner. You get the idea. So I always love to start in the crease with something neutral and then build from there. I like to then deepen the outer corner and kind of go down to the lash line with a slightly deeper shade. And since we already combined these two, I'm now just going to go in with this shade alone. And since it was a part of our crease shade already, it's going to coordinate perfectly and just add a little extra depth. So I'm using the BK Beauty 206 brush and just lightly buffing that kind of in the outer corner. And you can see that's adding quite a bit more warmth, and it's blending nicely into those crease colors. So we didn't have to work too hard to blend those because we already had that shade in our crease already. Now I typically like a little more depth in the outer corner, so I like to add that before going in with the shimmer shade on the lid. So I'm going to go in just with the dark brown. This is Charmed. I'm going to use that same brush, and I'm going to just kind of get a feel of how much depth that adds to the look, and it's perfect. It's not too dark and smoky, but it's just adding a little more depth there. It's in the same color family as the other colors we have in the crease. So again, it blends really easily and it is coordinating well with the rest of the look. And then I like to take my blending brush and go back with the combination of those two shades. So I haven't been telling you the names of these shades, so I apologize, but this is more about the color choices than the exact shade names, right? All right, so I'm just gonna go back and blend around the edge, get kind of a really nice blend. And the reason why I do so much blending before I go in with a shimmery shade on the lid is because with mature eyelids and hooded eyes, you know that kind of once you get a shimmer down, the more you have to keep blending, that those glitter particles and shimmer particles can start to travel up, and I don't like glitter all through my crease on a normal basis. So, all right, now we're gonna go in with our lid shade, and I just have become accustomed to applying shimmer shades mostly with my finger to start. I think that the warmth of your finger helps the shimmer particles to adhere. You get a little less drop down and you're gonna get the maximum color payout. Okay, so I'm gonna apply this. I already know I'm gonna change it, but I'm gonna apply this first to the eyes just so you can walk through my thought process with me. All right. So we have that beautiful olive green on there. And you can see, I mean, this is a look. This is a kind of look where you've got green and then brown tones. But I like to have a little more kind of seamless transition and coordination. So what I would then do is I say, well, I like that, but let's see what happens when we tap a little bit of all of you. So I put all of me. Now I'm gonna tap just a little bit of all of you on top. And that dialed back kind of the green a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is take a little bit of this shade, which is Major Spotlight, and I'm going to put a little bit of this in the inner corner and kind of pull it over that green. And what I'm doing as I'm doing that is I'm noticing how that shadow looks kind of over the green. And you can see, oh, hey, that actually works really well. It provides a really nice gradation of color. So I'm gonna add just a little bit more. And based on what you're seeing here, you could make the decision to actually bring that bright shade all the way over the green so that you just have a soft, subtle hint of green, or you can do what I've done here and kind of stop a little ways in there. Another thing that you can do if you don't want to do that experimentation on your eyes is you can go to your swatches on your hand. I do this a lot, and just take a color. So I'm taking that, what is it called? Major Spotlight. And I'm gonna just kind of put it over kind of the edge of that olive shade and just see what happens. I'm also going to take this coppery color right here, and I'm gonna add a little bit of that cooler kind of taupe color to it and just see what happens. So I do this a lot, especially with a new palette. I will go through and look for kind of really warm shades and mix them with a really cool shade, see what that looks like, and then proceed to experiment with those colors on the eyes based on how they look on the hand. And if you're not sure which colors to put together, you can also experiment on your hand. Try swatching a few of them close to each other and see what they look like. All right, now where we're at right now, I'm liking where it's going, but now I can tell I need a little bit of some coolness, something to kind of help mesh the outer brown into that green. So I'm gonna go in now with the black in the palette, and I'm going to use, let's see, I'll start off with this brush right here. This is the 204 from BK Beauty. And this is the shade called Infinity. And I'm just gonna go a little bit right here at the lash line And I'm gonna overlap that green shade and those brown colors just a little bit. And you can see it created just a nice gradation of color. I didn't actually bring it all the way up into the crease, but just kept it low here on the lid. So now if I give you kind of an up close look and comparison between the eyes, you can see there's nothing wrong with the way this one looks, but by just adding that little bit of black there, it provides just a nice soft transition into the brown in the outer corner. It's also going to make our liner, if you're using dark liner, it's going to make that look a little more diffused and a lot softer. Now, typically from here, I go to the lower lash line, and you could do anything. You could do dark brown, you could do black, or you could pull in olive. I'm going to use olive. I'm gonna kind of coordinate what we have going on our lid. This is the NYX Epic Wear Liner Stick in the shade All Time Olive. And then I'm going to use the colors that we used on the outer corner to kind of tie in that lower lash line and the upper lash line. So I'm going to start first with the black, which is Infinity on a Morphe M432. And I'm just going to put this right here on the outer corner, connect it there. And then I'll wipe off that brush on a tissue, and then I'm going to go in with this darker brown, which is Charmed. And I'm gonna go right below that black line and bring that in just a little bit and just kind of softly blend that over the edge of the olive shade. And then if you want to, this is optional, I'll just show you, but I'm gonna go over that liner now with just a little bit of that olive shade. And you know, there isn't a whole lot of shadow down here, so you really don't have to worry about it coordinating perfectly with what you have going on up here, but it's just that little added kind of finishing touch that I think helps tie everything together. From here, you can decide if you want to do any extra liner on the upper lash line. I'm going to go ahead and go in with black liquid liner. Another option would be the Kat Von D liquid liner in Mad Max Brown. That's also another option. I'm just kind of feeling like I want the black, so that's what I'm going to use. This is the Maybelline Hyper Easy liquid liner, and I'm going to just keep a nice thin line close to the lashes, and then maybe just a little tiny bit of a flick here. Just using some almond oil to clean up under the eyes here, and then I'm going to apply a mascara and be back, and we'll talk about blush and lip options. All right, now that mascara is on and concealer, I'm going to go back to the eyes and just finish up with inner corner highlight. Now, this is probably pretty self-explanatory, but personally, I like to go in with a neutral bright shade on the inner corner. Doesn't mean you have to. There's all kinds of artistic looks, like I could go in with this peach or the gold, but I like the look of something brighter. So I'm going to go in with that Major Spotlight. And, you know, we already added a little bit here, but after concealer, some of that can get hidden. And then I just like to pull this a little bit further, kind of closer to the nose, and just brighten this whole inner part of the eye. Now on to blush. Now I again have another whole dedicated video where I really thoroughly go into detail about tones of blush and everything. But for today, I want to just give you kind of a brief little snippet of my decision-making process. So since I chose to go in more of the warm tones and I put a color on the lid, I'm gonna go with something more neutral and warm. So 3 options in powder blushes. I just pulled these from my collection, and it's kind of funny because they almost look like shadows from the eyeshadow palette themselves. So this is the Burt's Bees Toasted Cinnamon. These are Bare Minerals Gen Nude blushes. This is Beige for Days and But First Coffee. And then as far as cream blushes go, this one from MAC would also be really perfect. This is So Natural. So this would be a really light kind of cheek color. So I think between all of these, let's just see here. I think I'm gonna go with this one, which is Beige for Days. I've used this a lot. I'm gonna use the Morphe E4. And this is going to add just a little bit of color. It's similar to a bronzer shade, but it has a little hint of more warmth. And it is completely matte, but it has kind of that warm peachy undertone. And you can see it coordinates really well with what we have in the crease. I'm gonna throw on a little bit of highlighter. And again, this can be a coordinated product as well. This is the Maybelline Metal Chrome, what is this? Master Chrome in 250. I think it's Molten Pearl. And this is very similar to what we have on the inner corner of the eye. So I know that this is going to just help tie everything together nicely. Okay, so the final step is adding a lip color. Now, with this eye look and even kind of thinking about more nude color family, there's still a lot of directions I could go. I could go super nude on the lips. This is Kim KW from Charlotte Tilbury. I could do something that is a mid-tone, kind of shimmery, warm, kind of bronze shade. And then I could kind of go with a matte, kind of little bit of a warm. This has a little bit of some cool tones. This is Very Victoria from Charlotte Tilbury, but this really coordinates well kind of with those outer color, the outer corner colors that we have there. So that's an option. Pop on a little gloss. So what do I choose? Well, I think I'm actually going to start off with lip liner and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to go in first with the Becca lip liner in Breezy. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with the Very Victoria from Charlotte Tilbury. You can see that brought a little more boldness to the lip area, but I'm going to tone it down just a hint with the Huda Beauty Lip Strobe in Ritzy. And this is also going to kind of bring a little bit of gold to the lips, which ties in with what we have going on the eyes. Here is our finished look. So you can see all those warm shades in the crease just coordinate with what we have on the cheeks and the lips. And I think this look looks coordinated, but it's not too matchy-matchy. Now, as I mentioned earlier, when we were going through kind of the blush options and then also when I swatched the palette, there are cool and warm tones in here. And if you get confused by that, check out the other video I referenced at the beginning because I go into great detail. But just real quick, a couple of other things to help you as you're coordinating your colors in your eyeshadow palette, like with what you're gonna wear or choosing what to wear. What I like to do is kind of figure out what I want to be the main focus for the day of my makeup. So if, for example, you just got this brand new blush from Nude Sticks, this is the one in Cherry Blossom, and let's say you go, oh, I really want to wear that blush. This is my eyeshadow palette. What color should I wear? Take your blush and just look at it next to all of the colors in the palette and see what looks most similar. And you can see, oh, that whole row right there looks really good with that blush. Also, when I swatched this color, I noticed there were a lot more plum undertones to it. And you can see kind of side by side, those don't look too off either. Then when you're considering your lipstick color, you can also look at your blush and, oh, hey, this lipstick is in the same tone, same color family, and you can see, oh, those would actually go well, and then you can coordinate them with your eyeshadow choices. Similarly, if you were looking at, let's say, Peach Peony from Nude Sticks, this is more peach, a little more warm. You're looking at this going, yeah, those don't look so good, but oh, hey, that's not so bad right there. Again, your warm browns. You've got a lot of options there. You also have this really nice kind of bronzy shade right there. And actually, believe it or not, Sweet Peach Peony would also go well even with the olive shade because it has some warmth. Now, I did pull out one neutral lipstick color just to kind of show you an option that wouldn't necessarily look so great with what I've got going on here, and that's this color. So if you can see this shade paired up with, let's see, where is my, well, let's just look at it with my gold. You can see this one has a lot more cool tones. It almost is like almost has some lavender kind of grayish tones. It's still neutral, but it would just kind of make this look seem a little off. However, if you pulled that color in with this shade in the palette, where did it go? There it is. You can see, oh, hey, that would work. So if you used that on your lid, this is your lipstick color, and you just stuck with a couple of these deeper, kind of more neutral shades, even this one, there you go, you have another option. So don't look at a colorful palette like this and think you only have one blush option, you only have one lip color option. There are many ways to use a colorful palette with various blushes and lipstick colors and still look coordinated and look like everything makes sense. So I hope that you found this helpful. I will periodically do more videos like this because I know for me, repetition helps me learn things and helps things stick in my brain more. But hopefully the way that I did this video, it was helpful for you just to kind of see my thought process in action. As always, thank you so much for watching. Be sure you're subscribed, hit that thumbs up button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.